What's up, everybody? What's going on? It's Monday. Welcome to What's the 411. You guys know what it is. I'm excited like every week. I'm just super pumped to be here with you guys. You know what? This is our second last Monday, okay? Second last Monday for the entire year. Can you believe it? Like, how quickly is like 2022 coming in? So, of course, we just finished a 10-day challenge, the last challenge for 2021. It went deep, but it was really, really good. And I'm excited. I started, revamping a whole bunch of different things, got my vision board all ready and set for 2022. Well, it's not fully complete, but it's getting there little by little. So yeah, I'm ready for 2022. I'm welcoming 2022. I'm really trying to reevaluate what different things happened this year and then going to be jumping into next year. You know what I mean? So I just want to send a big shout out to all of you guys. I appreciate you guys for always coming through every single week. Spending time with me, just talking with me and, the vibes. So, of course, 2022, we have so much coming up. There's going to be a lot of great things happening for 2022. As you guys know, I mentioned last week that we're going to be doing I'm going to be doing a docu-series on Black love in the Six. So I've been reaching out to a whole bunch of different people. We have the project that is just blossoming into so much great things. So I'm really excited to see how this all develops coming in 2022. So I'm excited about it. And of course, I just, want to thank you guys. We've been doing this interview thing for quite a bit of time now. And we've been doing this interview thing for quite a bit of time. Because of COVID, I'm not in the Unity FM studios, but, I'm here. And of course, we have a fabulous guest in our community in Toronto, and we're about to get right into it, guys. All right, about to get right into it.
Hey, how are you?
I am good. How are you?
I'm great, thank you. Thank you for having me. I was listening to all
Thank
of
you
the
so
amazing things
much.
you were doing, so I was like,
Yes.
hey, that's amazing.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. But thank you for deciding to join me, for coming on. I appreciate it. You're a legend out here. So this is a huge honor. This is a huge
Oh,
honor.
well, thank you. Thank you so much for your kind words. I appreciate that. I really do. So thank you. How are you?
All right. I'm doing good. I'm really excited. I'm excited to, hear more about your story. I do know a little bit about your story. Of course, everybody knows Trey Anthony, so we do know a little bit, but I'll never forget my aunt when The Kink in My Hair first came out as a play. She went to go see it, and I was probably like 14 or 15 at the time, and she came back home and she's like, everybody needs to come and see this play. So she literally brought our whole family, all of my aunts, uncles, all my cousins, everybody to go and see it. And I don't even know how many times she's seen it, but she's seen it several times. Like, she was in love with it, and it was fabulous. I can't forget it.
Oh, wow. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Mhm.
Yeah, I hear these stories all of the time about the kink and how people, yeah, just kept going to see it, brought mothers, grandmothers, sisters, and there's a little rumor going around town that the kink may be coming back 2022. So, who knows? Who knows? But something is definitely going down. So, yeah, keep your ears to the street, as they would say, right? So, and you heard it here first.
Okay, okay. You guys heard it here first.
You heard it here first.
So introduce yourself a little bit. Tell everybody who you are, what you do.
Yeah, for sure. So I'm Trey Anthony. I'm an actor, producer, author, playwright. And right now, I would definitely say I'm all about wellness. So, wellness expert. And I really try to get out there to get Black women just living their best damn lives, setting boundaries, taking care of their health, their mental health, being great mothers, setting limitations and boundaries with families and friends and even your damn self. So that's what I'm really about, and just living an authentic and true life. That's kind of me, what I do. Yeah.
Awesome, awesome. That's what you just said there is so important, like setting boundaries, and then of course, like is pertinent to living your best life. So how do we do that? How do we set these boundaries and then keep the boundaries that we set?
Oh, that's a good question. But I think I talk about it a lot in my book, Black Girl in Love with Herself. It really is about really knowing that people are going to be disappointed, right? And people are going to get frustrated and people are going to get upset. And you're going to be called selfish. You're going to be called many things, especially if you're the type of person who, like myself, was a people pleaser and people are used to you doing everything for them, right? Without saying no. It really is about just really just sticking with one of the things that I always say to myself when I'm thinking about placing a boundary, I'm always like, would I set this in place if I knew nobody would get upset or be mad with me? Would I be saying yes to something? And so that is how I know then a boundary needs to be set, because I'm just now I just kind of say, I'm not here to deal with the fallout or your reaction to me taking care of myself, right? And I think especially as Black women and especially as West Indian Black females, right? There's this thing around respect and, never saying no to your mother and your grandmother and, that kind of thing. And I think we have to learn that there's a way to set a boundary, but still be respectful and not just kind of say, oh, well, because she's an elder, I'm going to let her get away with saying this or doing that or running my life, So I give the example, like, for example, right now, my mother is really, she's just fixated on cutting my son's hair, right? Like she is fixated, right? Because she's in that West Indian sensibility that their hair needs to be cut low. And I really love my son's like afro and it's kind of all over the place. And I love it. And it makes him look like a little boy. And I'm not about taming black hair. And she's bothered by it so much, right? Like it just bothers her. And so I have to set this boundary with her at all times. Like, you're not allowed to comment on his hair. You are not allowed to take him to the barber. You are not allowed, like, this is my child. And so now her big thing is, are you a picnic? Are you a picnic? Everybody know, are you a picnic? Right? But it's just, you just have to set that thing, right? About this is how I choose to mother. And my favorite joke to her is that you had three chances. You had three kids, right? So you had your chance. I have my one. So let me just have my one and do what I want to do with my child, right? So I think that is something that was very hard with me at first, is to set boundaries, especially with my mother, because my mother is a very strong personality, right? And she's used to kind of running the show. So I had to really learn to do that in a way that felt right, but also respectful to honor her as an elder, right?
Yeah. Yeah, and it's not easy setting and sticking to those boundaries. So it's something that you got to continuously, I guess, work on, right?
Exactly, continuously, because it's never over. Like, it's even like that thing of saying yes to friends when you don't want to, taking on extra work at your work. I work with one client right now who's doing an extra, like, I would say a job of two other people who quit, and they're not paying her extra to do that. And I was like, wait a second, like, why are they not paying you? Like, two people left and their responsibility has fallen on you and no one has talked to you about extra money. I don't get this. Right. So there comes a time where you have to meet with your supervisor and say, this is what I'm willing to do because this is what I got paid to do. If you want me to do more, then my pay needs to reflect more. So it's those kind of things of us being able to say things instead of always swallowing things or keeping it in and things like that, because the swallowing of things leads to hypertension, diabetes, fibroids, cancer. All of those things I truly believe are related with us being silent as Black women.
Super, super important because we are suffering from a lot of those things all the time and
Yes,
they pop up at out of the blue. You know what I mean?
yes,
So for
exactly.
sure. All right. Well, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah,
You
no,
were gonna say
I was just
something.
saying exactly.
Um, but let's rewind a little bit and talk to us a little bit about like how you first started deciding that you were gonna be a storyteller and write these plays or write like where did it all come from?
Yeah, it started from really, I come from a family of what I call entertainers, right? My grandmother was definitely very comedic. My mother is very comedic. We're storytellers just by nature, right? Like if my grandmother wants to tell what's happening in the family, she's very dramatic, about what's going on, how she tells the story. And, I grew up watching, any of you guys are Jamaican, I'm sure, watching Oliver Samuels, and I saw, the Jamaican comedian, how much joy that brought my family. So I always knew that I wanted to somehow do entertainment. And I was encouraged a lot by my grandmother. And then the more I started going and watching TV, watching theater, watching plays, and um, just seeing that we weren't reflected. And so I started out doing stand-up comedy at Yuck Yuck's Nubian shows with Kenny Robinson, who gave me my first break. And then after that, he gave me a job as a writer on his show, which was After Hours with Kenny Robinson, which was somewhat kind of like Mad TV for Canadians, right? And then I got pigeonholed, I felt, into doing comedy. And that's when I wrote my first play, The Kink in My Hair. I had never written a play before. I'd never done a theater class. I didn't know what the hell I was doing. I see somebody says, yep, Oliver Samuels. You know how it goes, right? You don't know, right? And
Yeah.
I wrote The Kink because I really wanted to be taken more seriously as a serious actor, a dramatic actor. And people just started responding to the work. And I think it was because it was the first time we had seen Black women authentically portrayed on stage and in theater, and well-rounded characters. And I wasn't interested in writing stereotypical Black women, right? Like I was just like, those are not the Black women that I know. And I think especially for us as Canadians, we were really getting a lot of imaging of what Blackness was from America. And the Black Canadian experience and the Black American experience is two different experiences. But people like to
100%.
lump us together. And so for
Yeah.
me, I really wanted to tell it from a perspective of what it's like being Black in Canada, and especially with our immigrant experience, right? Because a lot of us are first generation Canadians, or we came over as kids to Canada. And that looks a lot different than Black Americans who can trace back, going generation after generation of being Black in America, and also their history of slavery. We don't come from that. So it's a
Right.
different kind of history, and it's a different way that we move through the world. And so I really wanted to make sure that I reflected that in the work that I did.
Yeah, the play was phenomenal. Even people in the show, people are talking about the show. It was great because it transformed from, being on stage to being on TV.
Mhm.
And it just made you laugh. It made you cry. It made you feel all of the things. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Um, yeah, but that's 100% true what you're saying. The experience that we have as Canadian Black women are totally different from the experience an American Black woman would feel and see.
Mhm.
Um, so it was phenomenally put together. But talk to us about the transition, like how you got it from being on stage to being on TV.
Yeah, it's funny. I just was speaking with Ngozi Paul, who was the co-creator of the TV show, who we were talking about another project we're currently working on together. And one of the people in the room was asking how we got the show on TV. And I said right there and then, if it wasn't for Ngozi Paul, there would not have been the Kink in My Hair TV show. She's the one who came to me in the middle of rehearsal once. When we were doing the play, she was like, "Oh my God, Trey, this would be like such an amazing TV show." And I was like, "Nope, nope, nope, nope. I don't want to do TV. I've never done TV. I don't want to do it as a TV show," because I was really scared about losing the creative control that I've had. And I had heard so many horror stories. And she was the one who really just pushed and pushed and got it made. Like she applied for, it was a grant, a TV grant being given by Vision TV at the time, which was giving, I think it was like $100,000 to put together a pilot. And if you're in TV land, you will know $100,000 is really nothing, right? It sounds like a lot of money, but when you're in TV and you think about, usually an episode starts minimum like around like 500,000 to 1 million, if not more. So to get 100,000, you're basically like, okay, what do we do? And she really was the one who made it work and happen. And from that pilot, we then were offered a gig to do the show with, first it was CBC, and then we left CBC and we ended up doing it with Global Television because we were not creative wise. The show that CBC wanted to make was a lot different than the show that we wanted to make.
Okay.
Yeah, so a lot of people don't know that we started with CBC first to do the TV show, and then we moved at the kind of last final hour to Global Television to do it. Yeah.
Wow. Wow. And then, so how many seasons are on
Yeah.
TV?
So we did 2 seasons. Right now, as people have been telling me, had no idea until about last week that it's running now on Amazon Prime. Like you can get it on Amazon Prime, so you can watch it. And it also now, funny enough, is on CBC Gem as well. So it's all over. Like you can watch it wherever now. And we are thinking about bringing it back, definitely, maybe doing an American version as well. So we're just doing a lot of different stuff, yeah, around it.
Phenomenal, phenomenal. So the response to your work is always, I'm sure people are taken back by everything that you do. Talk to us about what you're doing right now. You've just written the book. Give us a little bit of insight as to what prompted you to, step out to become an author and how it all started.
Yeah, I just wrote the book, which came out in January of this year. Oh my God, I can't believe it's been a year nearly. It's crazy to me how quickly time goes. And I really wanted to do something. When I first got approached to write the book, it was about manifesting a healthy Black love and relationship. And then that unfortunately shifted. As I was writing the book, I ended up going through a really unexpected breakup with my partner. And it was really a devastating breakup. And it just left me reeling. And um, I had to really look after my partner left, like why I was this devastated, why I hadn't seen some of the major red flags in my relationship, why I chose to ignore a lot of things, as a lot of us as women do, to be in a relationship. I had to look at like what lessons and what messaging I had gotten as a young girl from other women in my family about what love is and what love should feel like and what you sacrifice or don't sacrifice for love. I had to look at like vulnerability. I had to look at my mental health of why I stayed in something that wasn't emotionally wellness for me and wasn't emotionally good for me. And I wanted to write a book that Black women would go, oh my God, I see myself. And also look at our family traumas, because that is something that we don't talk about, right? Is trauma within our Black families and how that affects us and how trauma keeps perpetuating throughout, right? And so all of those things are really important to me, and especially mental health, because it wasn't until maybe I would say 8 or 9 months after the breakup, I didn't even realize that I was suffering from depression. And I had no idea what mental health looked like. And it wasn't until, it was funny enough, I was interviewing a Black psychiatrist for the book to talk about Black women and mental health. And she was naming all of the symptoms of depression, right? So supposing she was saying, okay, well, sometimes you feel like, things are too heavy for you. Sometimes you feel like you're in this dark place and you can't get out. And sometimes it takes you a longer time to respond, or you find yourself crying all the time. And she was listing about like 10 or 12 symptoms, and I'm writing them down. And as I'm writing them down, I was like, wait a second, I have that. I have this. I have that. And I got off the phone with her and I started literally crying. And I went downstairs to my mother and I said, Mom, I think I'm depressed. And my mother's exact words, and I will never forget this, she said, of course you're depressed. Everybody knows that, but you'll get over it. And me and your grandmother had it way worse, and we never took a pill, right? And that is when, as I write about in the book Black Girl in Love, that's how we deal with mental health in our community. Nobody talks about it. And it took me a long time, even the stigma of it, to publicly use my platform to talk about depression and anxiety with Black women. And a lot of times, us as Black women, we don't realize we're depressed or we're suffering from any kind of mental health issues. We think we're failing or we're not good enough. And that's what was going on with me. Like, I was like, why can't I get this shit together? Why can I not make this work? And everybody's looking at me as this success story. And I was feeling at all times that I was failing, you know? And so I really wanted to use my platform to talk about that and to take away that stigma for Black women of not feeling alone, because there's so many of us who, when we're feeling in this space, are suicidal or, you know, contemplating suicide or actually committing suicide, and nobody talks about it, right? And so for me, that was really essential. And that is one of the reasons why I really wanted to write this book, so we could talk about those things and have that safe space to talk about all of those things as well.
Yeah, and those topics are, of course, very taboo in our community. Nobody really wants to talk about them.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, because it can get too real, you
Too
know,
real.
when we're talking about it.
Yeah,
Too real.
too real. Yeah.
And so, what do you feel about the strong Black woman title?
Ugh. That's a whole damn chapter in my book, Black Girl in Love with Herself.
Oh, really?
Because I say it's something, like I always say, as I mentioned in the book, I say, I know the strong Black woman stereotype is something that has really helped me as a Black woman to succeed, because I got up a lot of times when people told me no. I was like, okay, let me show you, let me do this. But the strong Black woman stereotype also has emotionally crippled me and killed me, right, in a lot of ways, because there was times when I should have been resting and saying I'm damn too tired to be doing what I'm doing, and I still kept doing it. There were times when I should have been asking for way more support than I was getting emotionally and physically in relationships and friendships and family dynamics, and I didn't ask for it because I was the strong Black woman. There were many times when things were happening at my workplace and I was facing with dealing with microaggressions that happen as a Black woman, and I just dealt with them and swallowed them because I was the strong Black woman. And so there's many times that we are encouraged to get up and keep going, when really we should be telling each other, and as I write in the book, we should be saying to each other, hey sis, maybe you need to slow down, maybe you need to rest, maybe you even may need to cry about that. How about crying about that? Right? How about asking for support? How about going to therapy? How about cooking yourself a really great, nutritious meal? How about saying to friends and family, I actually need support. Can you take the kids? How about asking your partner to chip in and wash the damn dishes? Right? Why are you doing all of this by yourself? Right? And so those are the things that I feel is essential for us as Black women to be talking about, because we buy into this as well as society buys into the strong Black woman. And that is what is killing us. So I no longer take this on and feel pride in saying, oh, I'm a strong Black woman. I'd rather be vulnerable. I'd rather be tender. I'd rather say I don't have all of the answers. And I also like to say I'm scared. I'm really scared. And that's okay. Right? And I think until we are given those spaces to talk about those things, we just feel we're the only ones feeling like that by ourselves. So that was one of the reasons now, even with my upcoming tour, like I'm going to Toronto, I'm going to Atlanta, I'm going to Detroit, I'm going to LA. And one of the things I talk about is this tour is going to be a safe space for Black women, for us to come and take off our mask and take off our capes and actually feel loved, supported, being able to talk, being able to laugh, and be able to cry, and have these spaces for each other. We have to start creating safe spaces for each other.
Yeah, what you're saying is totally, totally 100% necessary, especially as Black women. This concept of sisterhood that I hear more Black women talking about nowadays, more support that Black women want to show other Black women. This is exactly what we need. We need to be able to have that shoulder to lean on, to cry on, to ask support for
Mhm.
whenever it's necessary.
Yes.
Yeah, it's so important.
It is so important. And I think, I talk about it in the book where um, I there's a chapter I do of like, can Black women and white women be friends? And I talk about my two close white friends that I had when I was going through my breakup, when I was going through my depression, when I was, trying to mother for the first time by myself. And I remember all of my white friends kept going to me, oh my God, this is so awful. Oh my God, you should be crying. You should be this. What could I do for you? Right. And I felt that I put on for my Black friends this thing of, it's okay, sis, I got it. I got it. Don't worry about me. It's all right. It's cool. And as I write in the book, I said, how many times have I even, as a Black woman, when my friends were going through things, that I would send them, Angela Davis quotes, or I'd be like, come on, sis, you can get up. Don't let this get you down. But I never, ever said to any of my Black friends, I see your pain and you should feel hurt and you should be crying about this. And I'm going to give you the emotional support that you need. And I'm going to treat you with a level of tenderness. What I try to do is give them a pep talk and tell them, get up, get up, get up. And that's what we tend to do instead of saying, let me hold you with a level of tenderness, because that's what you need right now. Right?
Yeah, I'm just, I'm so guilty of that.
Right?
So guilty of that, I'm like, damn, Ellie,
Right? And we all do
Yeah.
it. We all do it. And I'm telling you, it wasn't until I broke down and started writing this book, I said, I don't want to be strong. I don't want to pretend to my friends I'm strong. I was scared. I didn't know what had happened to my life. I felt, in one of the darkest places of my life. And I was like, I cannot actually pretend anymore that I'm good at what I'm doing. And I wanted someone to just hold me in the most tender way, because I felt I was just completely raw. And I had nothing left to give. And I said, once I was broken down to that place, what I needed was my Black women to come beside me and gently just put me back together, with a level of tenderness, not strength, tenderness. That's what I needed.
And that's important because we do need that tenderness.
Yeah.
We need it, and we need to show our children that as well,
Oh,
that it's okay to break down, right? It's okay.
and it's so true. Like, it's funny, I talk about this in my book of, even with my son, right, how I've decided to parent differently is, even when he gets upset, sometimes I say to him, use your words. What are you feeling? Are you upset? It's okay to cry. It's okay that you feel angry. It's okay. And I will hold him instead of, and I find, like, with my mother, who's Jamaican, like, she's like, every minute you have this boy in a hand, every minute you hold him up, right? And it's like, I said to her, why? And she's like, he's a big boy now. I said, he's 2. He's actually 2. Like, why are we trying to kick our children out of childhood? I don't understand, like, why we feel this necessity to kick our children out of childhood. And I said, no, he's my baby. And I'm going to treat him as such because he's 2. And if he can't find tenderness within his own home, why do I expect it's going to be out there for him? I need to be his safe space, right? So that's how I feel. I'm not trying to grow him up to go out there to be knocked down and fought with and feeling like he can't express any kind of emotions with me as his mother. I don't buy into that anymore. So that is something I feel, and I can't tell you how many times I've seen it within us, where there's this thing of where, because it was done to us, of being, roughed up, right? To some of us. And I'm not saying all, because I don't speak for all Black families. I will speak for my family. Me as a child, I don't remember tenderness. I remember love, but it wasn't a tender love. It was a tough love of, this is what needs to get done. This is what I expect from you. You can do better. Get up, and you keep it going. And I don't want a mother from that place anymore. Or if you don't do what I do, say, I'm going to beat you, right? And we had this fear of our mother. Like, it was just this fear. Like, I'm sure some of us can relate to when your mother told you to take out the chicken. and you forgot to take out the chicken, and she came
Mhm.
home, and
Mhm.
you just were trembling.
Fix.
You were so trembling, right? I remember I used to tremble when my mother came through the door and I realized I didn't do something that she told me to do. I would actually tremble, right? And we could laugh,
Yeah.
but there is something wrong in that, right? There is something really wrong in that, right?
Yes, it's very
There's
true.
something wrong in
It's
that.
very
That
true.
you forgot to take
Yeah.
out the chicken and you are trembling as you hear your mother's key in the door. Like there's something
Yep.
wrong in that,
It's true. It's true. Yeah.
right?
We know better now, so we have to do
We have
better.
to change that. I see somebody say we have to change that. And that's what I'm saying. We got to change how we do that. We don't have to do that no more, family. We don't, right?
Yeah.
So that is what I'm trying to do. Like, I want my child to be respectful. I want my child to have manners, but I don't want him to fear me. I don't want that. And that's what I felt at all times, that I had this fear of my mother, right? To this day, as a grown ass woman, I still feel fear, right? And
Yes.
so I'm just
Yes.
like, I'm not trying to be fearful of my mother anymore. And I think we have to change how we parent in that way, and what respect looks like, right? Within our culture, because a lot of what respect is being silent about damaging trauma in our family. And that's what I'm no longer signing up for, and that's no longer what I'm trying to participate in any longer with Black families, you know?
Yeah.
So that
Definitely toxic. And it's
it's
hard
toxic.
to do too, because, like, as you mentioned, you may be ostracized in your family if you start to speak up,
Yes, exactly. And that is the thing, like
you know?
even my mother, like I talk about in the book, how my mother is always like, don't say nothing in front of her, because you know that she's sensitive, or she'll go tell everybody in therapy, right? And I'm just like, what is the problem here? And I considered the troublemaker or the sensitive one in the family, but I'm the one who actually talks about trauma or cycles in our family that no longer serve us. And so I like to push my family and say, we can do better now. We have the education, we have the resources, we can do better. And some of us still act like, I remember my father saying, when he was a child, his mother used to leave him for how many days by himself, and he used to walk barefoot, and they used to, just give him porridge. And my dad functions from that place of somebody that was a very traumatic childhood. But sometimes I have to say to my dad and my mom, we're not walking barefoot anymore, right? Right? Nobody's getting on no donkey. No one's being left behind for months on top of months. Nobody's getting beaten. We don't have to function like that anymore, guys. Right? We're not
Yeah.
there anymore. And I think
Yeah.
sometimes we act as if we're still there, and our bodies remember that.
Yeah.
Right? So,
Yeah. Because we learned how to function in those traumatic places.
yes.
So it's like, we're just still there.
We are still there. And so that is why, even in the book, Black Girl in Love with Herself, there's exercises that I give to release us from that trauma, and also see the cycles of traumas within our own families and how we have played into them and how we continue to play into them. Right? So that is
Yeah.
something that I don't think, especially when self-help is around and when therapy is around, that has really been that specific to us as the Black community, and also going even deeper as the West Indian community as well, right? What that looks like for us as well.
Mhm. So what is your take on therapy?
I'm the biggest advocate for therapy. I've been going to therapy before it was cool to go to therapy. I feel, I'm sure my therapist has bought a small mansion with the money I've given her, right? I truly do feel that. I truly do feel that. And I think every single person should go to therapy. I think wellness is a continued journey. And I know for myself, I am better when I go to therapy, and that is something that I do. It's something, I teach a mastermind class every Tuesday evening to Black women, right? And it's around self-love, and it's around wellness, and it's about our financial health, our emotional health. Um, And this is a lot of ways for them to access therapy in a way from me and also from each other, you know? So that is something that's really important. And anybody listening, we are opening up for our January 1st class. So please email and reach out. You could go to treyanthony.com and reach out to us to join, you know, but that is something that is also very important for us to have these spaces where we're talking about these things around wellness. And I believe every Black woman should. And I know like people talk about, oh, well, it's expensive. There's a lot of ways that you can access therapy and emotional support. That is like, you know, some therapists offer sliding scale. There's also group therapy that is cheaper. There's all different ways that you can access if you are invested in your emotional well-being. And that shouldn't be an excuse. I know that's a reality of some people have more than others. I definitely understand that. But I also will say we can get resourceful if we believe something is a priority for us.
And that is so important because there is a big taboo, especially in our community, around, first of all, telling other people your business,
Oh, yeah.
you know,
Mm-hmm.
and then just talking, going to therapy, talking about it, spending money in therapy, and, you know,
Mm-hmm.
the benefits that come out of therapy from, you know, other people that have said, just as yourself, saying what benefits you've received from therapy are clear, but people are still scared in our community to actually
Yes.
go to therapy.
Well, yep, they still are, and it's something that I feel the more we talk about it, the more like even my mother, who's like in her 60s, like the other day, she said, "Well, maybe we should go to therapy, maybe." Right? And I said, "Yes, you should. You really should." Right? So it's something that she's starting to even think about herself, you know, and I think that's important. And I think this is a generation now. I think we are a new generation who is actually starting to say this cycle of toxicity ends here with me. It ends here with me, and we are going to walk through the world in a different way. And we are having conversations that we weren't having maybe 10 years ago, that we are now having around wellness, self care, and our mental health. And I think that is so important, you know?
Very, very true. Yeah. Um, so talk to us about just that self-love importance, about understanding how to love ourselves first and then being able to share that love with other people.
Yeah. I think the biggest thing that I can share about my own journey with self love is I was a person, I still am this person. I won't even say I was, but to some degree, I love big and I love hard. I'm one of those people, when I love you, you know that I love you. I will pour everything into you to be like, I got you, right? I love big. That's me. I'm very extremist. But what I found is I did that at the expense of my own well-being. I loved people in a way, expecting them to love me in the exact same way. And I and one of the things that really was an understanding for me, I was expecting from others, me, and not everybody is you. And so I felt that I was very depleted in love because I poured into so many people. And I was listening to a podcast the other day, and it just really rang true to me. And they said, one of the guests said, you cannot plant your home inside other people, because when they leave you, you are then homeless emotionally and physically. Home needs to start within you. And that was something where I was listening, going, oh my God, that's what I've been doing. I plant home in people, but I never planted it in myself. And that is what self love is. It is about saying it starts here within me. I am centered. This is my home. I am loving me. And as I wrote in the book, Black Girl in Love with Herself, make people catch you loving yourself when they show up, right? You don't ask them to complete your love. You already are full and whole, and they just complement it. But they are not the people who are going to be fully responsible for loving you, right? And someone said, I like that, then half the time they don't have the capacity to reciprocate. And that's true. And I think, especially if you're an empath, I think, especially if you have a higher I would say just like very people, some of my partners will say, oh, you have a really high emotional intelligence. And so I used to take that and go, ooh, that's so nice. I'm emotionally intelligent, right? But I realized that was then their excuse to then say they can't love me in the same way, right? Because they would be like, oh, you just have this way of anticipating my needs. But hey, why can't you anticipate some of mine? Right? So I think that happens to a lot of us as women. We don't have that same level of expectation from the people loving us. We just feel we need to love them. And for me, I've just decided the love that I used to so freely give to others, I am now giving to myself, right? And that has been really important. And that has been a new thing for me. And I will say, it's not something that is a complete journey at all times. There are times where I catch myself and I go, oh, you know why you're feeling this tired. You know why you're feeling this exhausted. You know why you're feeling this frustrated. You know why you're feeling angry. Because I hear you go again, pouring into other people. And as you're pouring into them, you haven't stopped to pour into yourself. Right? So that is something, it's always a balancing act. And it's a continual lesson of like going, oh, why am I feeling like this? Why am I feeling so exhausted? Why am I feeling so tired? Why am I feeling so frustrated with the people in my life? And I recognize it, a lot of times it's when I am giving way too much than what I'm getting back.
Yeah, and that balance, how do you maintain that balance?
Mm-hmm. It's about really checking in with yourself, right? Because there's a lot of people who can do that, the draining, right? Even as a mother, I can't tell you how much I was unprepared for how much giving and giving and giving and emotional energy it takes to love a child, to care for a child, to show up for a child. It is one of the hardest things I've ever done. And so I had to really learn um, as a mother to sometimes go, you know what? You can say today's not your best day as a mom and take some time out and take care of you. That you can also ask your friend to look after your child for an hour or two or drop him at your grandmother's while you take some time, you know? And that is really important. And try not to live with the guilt, right? Because that's what happens to us as women. We're guilted at all times for trying to take care of ourselves.
Yeah, and I was just going to say that because, without feeling guilty, because there's always that factor. There's something like as soon as they're gone, you drop them off or whatever, you're just like, am I doing the right thing? Am I
Oh,
doing the right
you're
thing
always
here?
guilty. Like I just came back from, I was in Los Cabos for 5 days and I left my son with my mother, right? And even when I would call, like my mother would be like, "You're just calling, no?" And I'm just like, he's been at daycare all day. You pick him up at 6. I'm calling at 6:30. Like, when did you expect me to call? Like, why do you feel you need to guilt me? Right? And I was just like, I'm gonna let this go because I'm calling at 6:30. So I said, like, what did you expect me to do? Like, why should I call any sooner? He's at daycare. So why am I calling? I'm calling to talk to him. But I knew that was her way of trying to be like giving me a little guilt of taking this time for myself. Right. And I was like, I'm not going to play into this. I really am not going to play into this. Or like when my sister will say, like, while I'm on vacation, like, oh, must be nice. I'm not playing into that. I'm not playing into that. I've decided to take care of myself. And if you want to take care of yourself, you can also do that too. Right. But don't let people guilt you into taking care of yourself.
Yeah. Yeah, that's something that you got to really work on. Like I know I personally have to work on that. That guilty, that feeling like maybe I shouldn't be doing this, even though you kind of know you should. You
Yes.
know what I mean?
Yes.
Yeah, it's tricky.
It's
It's
it's that
tricky.
it's as someone said, it's the continued reassessment, and that is exactly what it is. You just keep on reassessing where you are and what you need. I was talking to a friend before I got on the call, and she said to me, like, are you shutting down your office for the Christmas holidays? And I swear to you, it never crossed my mind. And she said to me, you need to take 4 or 5 days off for yourself, Trey. You've been working continuously around the clock. And I said, yeah, but I just came back from Los Cabos. And she goes, you were gone for 5 days. And so now you feel that you should never take another day off, right? And I was like, yeah, I did feel like that. And I realized, why can I not take more time for myself? But I'm just like, oh, I got 5 days and that's all I'm worthy of, right? So it's also having people around you who can remind you that it's okay to rest and take care of yourself as well.
True, true, true.
You know?
Yes, very, very important. So talk to us about where we can find this book.
Yes, yes, yes. Well, here we go. There you go. I will say to people, especially if there are any men out there watching or women watching, when you go, I don't know what to buy someone for Christmas, this is the book. You can order it on Amazon. You could go down to a different book list. If you're in Toronto, go pick it up from a black bookstore. This is the book for everyone in your life who needs self care. Oh, also pick it up for your damn self. How about that? Buy yourself a damn book for Christmas, right? People have said to me they have laughed, they have cried. There are some people on I see on this live right now. If you read the book and love it, show us a heart. The reviews are practically 5-star on Amazon because people love the book. And not only women are reading it, men are reading it. People are buying it for their sisters, they're buying it for their mothers, they're buying it for themselves, their friends. So please go out and support. It really is essential to me as a Black woman and a small business owner. And we also have Black Girl in Love merchandise now. So we have the Black Girl in Love t-shirts, we have the cups, we have leggings, we have everything. So jump online as well. We also have baby wear for little Black girls in love with themselves. And it really is a movement about spreading Black love and self-care and awareness and breaking the traumas of, breaking the cycles of trauma within our community as well.
Nice, nice. Yeah, we definitely have to make sure that we go and support the thing, guys. So go pick up your merch,
Yeah.
pick up the book. As she says, buy her damn book.
Buy my
Okay, just
damn
go.
book. Buy my damn book. Buy your tickets, Toronto, especially if you're listening in Toronto. We have 2 shows coming in Toronto. You guys know I always sell out. So pick up your damn tickets. It's February 5th and 6th. You got to be vaccinated to show up. So make sure you bring your vaccination card and all of that kind of stuff. We're following COVID guidelines. But I'd be in Toronto, and it's going to be an amazing show about love, self-love, awareness. It's going to be comedy. It's going to be theater. It's going to be drama. We're going to have some big discussions. So yes, 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 buy my damn book.
So where are you guys going to be on February 5th and 6th?
We're going to be at the Harbourfront Center. Yes, the Harbourfront Center. So tickets are on sale right now. So make sure you pick them up and get them. Yes. I see someone say, yes, buy my damn book. That's my tagline. You guys know that. Buy my damn book. Like, if you haven't done your Christmas shopping, I don't know what you're waiting for. I'm giving you everything that you need for your Christmas list. You know?
Right there.
Yeah.
So talk to us about what motivates you, what keeps you inspired.
Good question. I feel for me, I truly feel that I'm walking in my purpose. I really, truly feel that, I write about it in my book where my grandmother said to me from when I was little, I was born with 3 gray hairs in the middle of my head, right? And my grandmother always used to say to me, you are marked by God. God has marked you and you will do God's work, right? And I feel that maybe it was a little bit of superstition, right? And maybe my grandmother never knew. But that was something that I truly believed in, that I've been placed on this earth to do God's work. And that has been my calling. And that's what keeps me motivated. Like, I truly feel when all of this happened to me and I hit rock bottom and my life essentially that I thought was a quote unquote perfect life blew up in my face, I kept saying to myself, why me? Like, why me? Why did this happen? And I talk about it in the book. There was this quiet voice that said to me, because you need to learn to talk the things, you need to tell the truth, and this will heal other women. You talking the truth will heal other women. And for me, I believe that I'm doing God's work and I'm walking in my path by actually exposing some of the things and the traumas and the things that I have held as beliefs that have really emotionally not been good for me, right? And how I showed up in the world, and what things I believed about love, and how I felt love should be given, and what I was worthy and not worthy of. And for me, it's about really empowering other Black women to look at our lives and say, I can do better. And so, what motivates me is when I get emails from women who said, oh my God, I read your book and I was crying like it was the first time I felt truly seen. I read your book and it's healed me. I read your book and I decided to give it to other women in my life because this needs to be a movement. Or a woman would say to me, I actually saw your book in the bookstore and I sat down and cried because I've never seen a Black woman's face on a self-help book. You know, Things like that motivates me. Or they say, I'm trying now to be a better mother because I read your chapter on Black women and mothering. And I had to look at myself and go, oh my God, this is how I mother, you know? So those things keep me motivated when you feel you are truly walking in your path and your destiny. When Black women join my mastermind group and talk about how it's changed how they move through the world and how they show up, all of those things keep me motivated. So, yeah, I have a lot of silent conversations with God at all times, and I kind of listen and I say, hey, what do I need to do next? What do I need to show up with? And how can I be a better person?
Awesome. And you just mentioned Talk the Tings. I know you do a show live on Instagram too, right?
Yes, I do a Talk the Ting show every Thursday night. This Thursday, actually, we are going to be joined by Yoni Spa. We are going to be talking about wellness for your vagina. Yes, I said vagina. Um, so, everything you need to know about wellness around your vagina, questions you have around fertility, fibroids, all that kind of stuff is going to be happening this Thursday at 8 p.m. Yes. So check my page and it's Talk the Tings, and I could be joined by Yoni Spa, who will be talking about steaming your yoni and your little things down there. Right. So and what that means, and vagina health, because again, I said these are things we don't talk about, and there's a lot of women who are going through perimenopause or menopause or have painful periods or have infertility or have miscarriages, and we just don't know how to take care of our vaginas. So I'm having a frank discussion on vagina health, your kitty cat, whatever you want to damn well call it, your pum pum, whatever. That's what we're talking about. Okay, on Thursday.
All right. Thursday at 8, guys. Thursday
Yes.
at 8.
So join us for that conversation.
So you get the last word. Let me know if you have like a quote or anything that kind of stands out to you that you would like to leave everybody with.
Ooh. I think my biggest quote, and it's funny, I just looked at my desk because I see it right now, and it's something that I read every day, and it says, you are worthy of a kind, gentle, balanced, and tender love. And I think we need to know that. And if someone doesn't show up in our life offering that, we also know that we can offer that to ourselves at all times, right? So I think it's just, we need to be really tender with ourselves and each other. I think that's really important. I also think we need to, especially a lot of us who are content creators on Instagram and Facebook, if you follow our work and you like our content, it's really important that when we are having and selling something, our merch or our tickets or our t-shirts or something, that you support us, right? Because there's this thing kind of like, oh, I love your page and I love following you and I love listening to you live and everything else. But also know that we are independent artists, we are independent business women, and we need that support from our community. And support goes a long way. So, like if you're listening to this right now and you got something from it and it's free content from both of us, then go out and support us, right? Buy something that we're selling. Like it's that simple. But a lot of us, sometimes we just take it in and we don't look in like, how can we continue this? How is someone paying their bills or supporting this content and producing it? The way we keep doing what we're doing is because you guys need to support and love us, right? So, and loving us means actually putting your hand in your pocket and paying for shit, right? And showing up, right? That's the damn truth. I see all a lot of hearts. Thank you for that. And that's what I believe. We got to start supporting it. It's not enough to do hashtag Black Girl Magic, hashtag support Black businesses, and you haven't bought from a Black business. I don't understand this, right? I don't understand that, right? And we love to put a little hashtag Black Lives Matter. Well, yeah, support the Black girl who's got a Black Lives Matter and buy her things, right?
Oh my gosh, thank you so much. I appreciate you for coming on, sharing all of your great your great content. Like you're amazing, you're amazing. I
Thank
know you are, but we gotta let you know.
Well,
You know what I
thank
mean?
you. I truly do appreciate that. And please join me next Thursday. Buy my damn book. This Thursday, exactly. Sorry, this Thursday, the last Thursday. And, as I said, we're talking Yoni. Go follow me on Instagram, Black Girl in Love. Go to treyanthony.com and sign up for our newsletter and everything else and get some tickets. And thank you so much. What's the 411 for having me? I appreciate it. I appreciate it. We both got the black hoodie memo today. You see?
You know what it is. It's a Toronto take.
Toronto things. Yes. Pick up yourself, Toronto. Pick up yourself. You don't know.
Yep.
Yes.
All right. So you take care. Have yourself a great night. We'll definitely keep in touch. I'm gonna buy the book and I'm gonna read the book and I am going to post all about it, let you know all of my thoughts on it because I know it's gonna be great.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Thank you for giving me this platform. Thank you ever so much. Have a good night.
All right, you too.
Okay.
Take
Bye,
care.
guys.
Thank you. Yes, guys. That was a phenomenal interview, phenomenal chat with Trey. Thank Trey so much for coming through. Of course, she's one of Toronto's finest. She's been out here doing her thing in Toronto for how long? We all know her. If you guys don't know The Kink in My Hair, if you haven't seen that play, you guys need to check it out because it went from being a play to a show. And it's just full of so much information, so much conversation, so many of the things that a lot of times us in our community are thinking, but we're not actually saying. So it's really, really a phenomenal show. She talked about how it's also, I believe, on Amazon Prime right now. So if you guys check it out, you want to check it out, check out the show on Amazon Prime. You could watch replays. The replays are on CBC, I believe, and Global as well. So you can check them out there. She just had so much important information, not only to us as women, but to everybody. And I'm really interested in checking out the book. I've been hearing some great things about it. I'm definitely going to buy the book, read the book, and I want to encourage all of you guys to do the same. And of course, just think about the ways that we can exhume that self-love, and she talks about it in the book, how we need to love ourselves first and then we're able to actually pour out to other people. And so loving yourself is really, really important. And we just finished a 10-day challenge, and that's pretty much all it was about. Just pushing that self-love conversation and how we can do better with it, right? So, oh my gosh, I'm just full of just excitement, joy, all of that great stuff. It was honestly an honor to have her on What's the 411 because she's doing some really fabulous things. So she did mention that it's possible the kink in my hair is coming back. So let's look out for that, guys. If you haven't followed her on Instagram, make sure you follow her on Instagram. If you have your vaccine and you're looking to get into a good show in February, it's Black History Month. She's going to be at the Harborfront Center February 5th and 6th. So make sure that you grab your tickets now because her shows are always super sold out really, really quickly. So you definitely want to make sure that you grab your tickets now, okay? Secure yourself for that. And then let's look to see what else she has going on. I know she did say she has a mastermind, a wellness mastermind class. So if you're interested in taking that mastermind, reach out to her. You can send her a DM. or you can click the link in her bio, send the information on an email to her so that you guys can, get yourself involved in this wellness conversation. Let's start talking more about opening up these difficult conversations that we need to have amongst our community and really put things out there, and so this conversation was fabulous because moving into 2022, I mentioned to you guys that I'm going to be doing the Black Love in the Six docu-series. So I'm really excited about it. And if you are just coming into the chat right now and you didn't get to see the entire interview, make sure that you go and check it out from the beginning because there's a lot of great content, some of which we're going to be talking about in the docu-series in 2022, guys. All right. So thank you so much for joining me on What's the 411 today. You see the featured artwork today. This one is by Diamonds Paintings. So if you guys are interested in any of the artwork that you see on the show, make sure you let me know, hit me up. All of the paintings are for sale. If you want, it's all original art. So go on to Diamonds Paintings on Instagram right here. You can check out some of her other artwork. And if you're interested in anything, you can reach out to her, or you can reach out to me and let me know that you're looking for a painting. If you'd like something original that you want painted for yourself, let me know what it is. And I could definitely get the artist to hook up with you and conversate about what you're looking for. And we can take it from there. All right, guys. So thank you. I'm not going to see you till after Christmas, so Merry Christmas to you all. I will be back on Monday. We are going to have another fabulous interview with another fabulous individual on Monday coming up, so make sure that you guys don't miss it. That's going to be the last Monday in 2021. Oh my gosh, last Monday coming up, guys. All right. So if you guys have any of your last minute Christmas shopping, make sure that you hit up Trey Anthony, buy her damn book, and hopefully it comes in by Christmas time. If not, I believe she said that they're in the stores, in a couple of the Black bookstores. So check it out where you can go and pick up the book and gift it to somebody for Christmas. All right, guys. All right. All right. Okay. I will see you on Monday. All right. Have yourselves a good week. Great week.